At the break of dawn, in the middle of the Arizona desert, a crowd of strangers meet for one purpose.
You guys coming out here to help me out, I really appreciate that from the bottom of my heart.
To help another stranger, a father desperately searching for his 24-year-old son, Daniel Robinson.
Since he was a child, he liked to challenge everything.
He was born with a challenge.
And I wanted to introduce him to prosthetics because he's born one hand. We quickly learned that that's something that Daniel didn't want. He let nothing stop him. He decided to be a geologist once he got into freshman year in college. He excelled that. He graduated with honors.
Daniel's first job is checking the viability of water wells in the Arizona desert.
He loved this area, of course, because of the rock formation. You're a geologist, this is the best place to be.
But the terrain became a hellscape for his dad when Daniel went missing back in June from his job site. And what number search is this?
This is search number 14.
Navigating the dangers in the desert, the Army veteran knows firsthand time is of the essence.
When I called the Buckeye Police Department, they told me that I had to wait an extra 3 hours because they had a 12-hour, report time when you can say a person is missing. Then I called them back and put in the missing person report. I got very worried. That's when I got very worried. I asked the Buckeye Police Department to go out and search that area. The officer told me that they were going to send a vehicle out there, a helicopter out to search for him. I was relieved. And then he called back an hour later and said, no, it was a no-go. I'm his dad, and he's my son. I've lost all sense of reality. At that moment, I said, you know what? If they're not going to look for my son, I'm going to have to do it myself.
Before he arrived, police did decide to search on foot and with helicopters. This is the last place your son was seen?
The last place.
What do you think happened, David?
I think a lot happened here. I'm very suspicious.
But he doesn't know what. A month in, there's a break in the case, and police call Robinson.
I got afraid, actually, that it's going to be some bad news. He said, no, we just found his vehicle.
Some ranchers found it, and then at that point, we conducted our investigation and additional searches.
What was the condition of the car? If it had rolled over, it sounds like it was pretty bad.
Yeah, the car was on its side. The sunroof was kicked out at that point, so he might have exited through the sunroof.
His wrecked car in a ravine, both airbags deployed, Daniel's cell phone, clothes he was wearing that day, and a case of water all found at the crash site. But not Daniel. People don't just disappear into thin air.
True.
Does that sort of feel like what's happened to here?
Yes. Yeah, it's very, very challenging case.
No matter how much the family asks for this to be a criminal investigation, can you make that happen?
We can't make up evidence. Absolutely suspicious circumstances related to the case.
Frustrated and heartbroken, Robinson hired a private investigator. Where are we going?
Down here is where the vehicle was recovered from.
Is that the glass from the car?
Yes.
When you looked at this accident, what are the discrepancies that you noticed right away?
I believe it was in more than one collision.
What does the data from the black box of the car tell you?
That there was 11 additional miles on the vehicle since the airbags came out.
What does that tell you?
That tells me it was crashed somewhere else.
Does that sound suspicious? What explains that?
Well, we had the national expert that came in and provided us his findings, and then they ended up speaking to an expert at Jeep, and the expert says, yes, sometimes that happens, and it's not unusual.
But the data also shows someone tried to start the car 46 times after the crash.
That's something we can't explain.
It begs the question, again, the family is saying it's criminal. It's got to be reason danger. Do something.
Right. No, I agree. But we need information. We need evidence.
He's got a lot of theories. His words, I think, were, I don't think they cared. What do you say to that?
Couldn't be furthest from the truth.
Losing hope, Robinson began pleading for media coverage.
It literally took 3 months.
While Robinson searched for his son, the country became riveted by media coverage of another missing persons case, the case of Gabby Petito.
In my situation, people think I love our children less or something, or they're less important.
In 2020, more than 543,000 missing persons records were filed. More than 480,000 were cleared. And 40% of the missing are people of color.
There are a lot of Gabby Petitos and Natalie Holloways in the Black and brown community.
That's why former police officer Derica Wilson co-founded Black and Missing Inc. and says too often their cases go untold. Eventually, local stations did stories and citizens began helping search. Did you know Daniel?
No, I just wanted to help.
You're just helping out a stranger on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Why?
You know what? I can't imagine what that man's going through.
As the search for Daniel goes into its 5th month, another family is in the midst of a terrible mystery for a 5th year. The family of Nikki and Ariana Fitz.
Ariana is very energetic, very happy.
2-year-old Ariana went missing under the most suspicious of circumstances in the San Francisco Bay Area in 2016. Her mother, Nikki Fitz, was found in a shallow grave in San Francisco's McLaren Park, but Ariana was gone.
It breaks my heart that Ariana's not with her mom and Ariana's not with her family, but it also breaks my heart even more is that I know that Nikki wants nothing more than Ariana to be with us, to be home.
Tessa Fitz says she is convinced her niece Ariana was taken by people close to Ariana's mother. San Francisco police searched for weeks. They had some leads, but no arrests. A digitally altered photo was made of what she may look like now.
And she's 8 now. I don't want to see this in a picture. I want to see her face in person.
Should Ariana Fitz be a household name like JonBenet Ramsey?
Absolutely. Why is her case any different from Kaylee Anthony? I can tell you, the color of their skin is the only difference.
For 5 desperate years, the family has continued searching using flyers, social media, and Black and Missing Inc. Do you think it has anything to do with color?
I try not to put myself in the mindset of the race issue with her media coverage. All I want is for there to be the media coverage for her. I think she deserves that.
The Fitz and the Robinsons want only one thing, with hugging their missing children once again. Do you think that Ariana is still alive?
I do believe that Ariana is still alive, and it would mean everything to me to know where she is and to find her. I wait for that day every single day. I believe that day will come.
How long will you search?
Till I find my son. I have to. I mean, he's my responsibility.
Sarah Seidner, CNN.
Where is Daniel Robinson?
Saturday night, that question on the hearts and minds of Daniel Robinson's family and friends gathered at the state capitol asking for more to be done since the now 25-year-old geologist vanished in the Buckeye Desert.
My son is just not my son. He's also America's son, because this happened to a lot of families.
Since then, his father, David, organizing search parties hoping to find his son. Volunteers showing up week after week, standing strong with the Robinson family.
Daniel could be any one of us, and so we definitely need to bring awareness to the situation. If we don't speak up for him, and help find him, who will?
Daniel and my son went to the same high school. Felt it was my duty as his neighbor to be here to support him and really try to figure out where Daniel is and bring him home safe.
David's search parties found Daniel's Jeep Renegade, rolled over in a ravine, airbags deployed, his clothing found inside out, boots and socks, wallet and laptop, no blood, no signs of injury, no signs of Daniel.
God knows how much we can bear, and at times I feel like I can't really take but so much more.
But in his weakest times, David says it's the volunteers that provide him strength.
Everybody know that I call them my extended family. And so this visual is the same thing. We all here have one common goal, and that's to find Daniel and also to bring light what happened to other families.
As the Robinsons' extended family light candles tonight, their collective light shines towards that day when their question is answered and Daniel comes home. Josh Sanders, 12 News.
Yeah, I'm David Robinson, the father of geologist Daniel Robinson. We're out here to do a candlelight visual on behalf of my son, and also to bring light into other families who are going through similar situations. So thank you. I'm thanking everybody who's out here to support. We need to stand in solidarity to bring attention to this case and to make a statement.
Oh, I'll be your shelter, I'll be your armor. I hear you whisper underneath your breath. I hear your SOS, your SOS. I will send out an army to find you in the middle of the darkest night. It's true, I will rescue you. I will never stop marching to reach you in the middle of the hardest fight. It's true, I will rescue you.
I'm David Robinson, father of geologist Daniel Cornelius Robinson.
Daniel Robinson went missing 4 months ago. This is the last photo his family has of him. He's a 24-year-old geologist, last seen leaving his job site in Buckeye, Arizona.
As the Gabby Petito homicide case garners national attention, another young person has been missing for nearly 3 months, and his family is desperate to find him. 24-year-old Daniel Robinson, a geologist, was last seen on the morning of June 23rd, leaving his work site in the desert of Buckeye, Arizona.
David Robinson had only one thought on his mind as he drove the nearly 1,800 miles from his South Carolina home to Phoenix.
I had to find my son. Good morning, and I'm still searching for him. My name is David Robinson, the father of geologist Daniel Cornelius Robinson, who went missing on June 23rd, 2021. I'm here this morning to do a Q&A for those who have questions about this case, those who have been championed to, show support. Again, my name is David Robinson. My son went missing on June 23rd. He was at his job site doing what he loved. He's a geologist, came out of College of Charleston, graduated with honors, started his life out here in Phoenix, started working for a company called Matrix New World. It was also called Matrix Southwest Groundwater, where he was hired on as a field geologist / hydrogeologist. And he was at his work site, 2 work sites that morning of June the 23rd. The first well site he completed, did some things there. And once upon leaving that well site, he made it to the second, allegedly made it to the second well site, where he met a gentleman there who in turn showed him how to get into that well site. The well site is about a mile or so west, and then you have to go up almost 2 miles north to get to this well site. Son was there for about 10 minutes with this gentleman, and according to the story of the guy that was there with him, my son pretty much just waved off, drove south, and then instead of going back east, he went west further out into the remote area of the desert, where he was never seen to this day again. About almost 30 days later, his vehicle showed up in this ravine. A picture behind me, on his laying on the side there. Everything he was wearing on his body, his safety vest, his clothing, everything was on the ground, his boots, underwear, socks, all on the ground. Inside his pants pockets, everything was turned up inside out. Inside his pants pocket was his wallet. There was no money in it, but it was a wallet with his IDs and things like that. Inside the vehicle was a cell phone, work computer, and a backpack. So there's some things that was in that vehicle also. But my son was never seen again. And also, almost 24 hours later, the Buckeye Police Department alerted me that the rancher found this vehicle in that scene. I've been here since June 26th looking for my son, still searching for him. I started my own searches, my own investigation. And with my searches, I was able to be successfully did over 20,000 acres of land covered. And that's a small amount in that area. It's a pretty significant amount, but it's also a small amount with the land mass and the area based on the 7-mile radius or so, a little more of where possibly my son could have gone if somehow he miraculously escaped this vehicle, like Buckeye Police Department would say, without injury. But at the same time, he had a head injury and shredded his clothes and started walking off in that desert, hid under a tree. So, my searches had to be based on that. While we was doing searches, my searches also was able to collect the remains of other individuals, bring some type of closure to other families. It's a difficult time when we do that because we don't know if it's Daniel. But as we know, so far, we haven't gotten an indication from that department, police department, that any of those bones that we found was related to Daniel. Even the fresh ones the latest that we found, I was told that wasn't Daniel. But again, I'm really grateful that we can bring some closure to some families. We also found the human skull only a few feet away from this vehicle, so not too far from this vehicle. So again, my name is Dave Robinson, the father of Geologist Daniel Robinson. I want to come here for the Q&A. I just want to share that I have the tip line on the bottom of the screen. Anybody have any tips and want to share anything that they know that will lead me to finding my son, lead me to help bring them back home, that type thing, you can hit the tip line up. Again, if you want to stay anonymous, you can do that as a 24-hour tip line. You can stay anonymous. Someone answer your call, take your tip, and like I said, you can remain anonymous. Also, as I put on the bottom screen, you also can text the word tip to that number if you want to stay anonymous or non-anonymous. You just text the word tip to that number, and the form will come up, and you can make that choice. So again, you just can call the tip line and leave an anonymous tip or non-anonymous tip, 24-hour, 7-day a week live operator. You can do it that way, or you can just, like I say, just hit the tip, text the word tip if you don't want to talk to anyone, and you can go forward from there. If you have any suggestions, hey, Mr. Robinson, you need to check this well as this many feet, or I think you should go across the White Tank Mountains, or anything like that, or you need to go question this person. Use this number on the bottom of the screen here. This is a public cell phone number. It would definitely help in that way. I love suggestions. I'm not an expert, and by all means, I promise you one thing: I'm not a big-headed. I know that this is a grassroots thing. I'm relying on you guys as much. You guys are relying on me. That's why I have this Q&A for answers questions you may have, and give you the answers that you need about this case. And you want to hear it from the source. You don't want to hear it from some other channels out there, because I heard some things out there is totally inaccurate. You can go in the police report and find inaccurate things. So things like the father said his son was in love with a woman he didn't know. That's some things I haven't said. So I've seen that in there, and so you want the source, come to me directly. There you go. The 200 number. You want to just give advice. That number is there for give some support. Just say, hey, Mr. Robinson, I'm thinking about you, praying for you and your family. I love those. Those keep me going. It keeps me high spirited. So I really need those. My morale. And at this time, you can imagine if you have a missing child that you love very much, your morale can go low. So when you guys do that, that help me. When I see your faces out here to the searches, see you supporting here, look in this Q&A, that helps a whole lot. So I appreciate you for that. So again, if you have any way you want to try to help, go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. You can sign a petition, which I encourage everybody to do so. If you have multiple email addresses, you can do it multiple times. I'm trying to get that number up. I think we need to get up to 150 now, 150,000. We're close to it. We're over 100,000 signatures. I need to update it. I'm going to update update several things. You know, you can imagine that I got behind on a lot of things, but I'm able to finally have a team that's working in the background to help me stay on top of some of that stuff. So I'm grateful for them. I'm sure they're watching me now, and I'm really grateful for you all taking notes that would help me, get some things organized. So I really appreciate it. Really appreciate everybody who's helping in every form and fashion. You also on that website can find just that, ways you can, when we're out there searching out there in the desert, and also when I'm having my city distribution, you can find out when we're having it, where, and the location and things like that, and how you can help that way. You also could, like I say, passing out these flyers is important. Getting out there in that desert, we need line searches. Like I said, this desert is huge. It's huge. And, to cover, it depends on how many people we have, is how much we can actually cover that day. So, the more people, the better. We can cover more ground. I had to cut down on the searches because I'm trying to save money for forensics that need to be done on the vehicle and all the stuff that was found here, his personal computer at home also. So a lot of things need to be done forensic wise. So, I could cut down the searches. So we don't have the razors and things anymore. But if you guys have them, bring them. You got the drones and things like that. Like I say, this grassroots. I need your help in any form of fashion that you can come out there and help in any kind of way. I encourage that. So please come out and help. So I'm really needing that. It's getting hot, so we definitely need you to come to the safety briefing early in the morning. It's at 7:45. We have our safety briefing where, we provide the water, we provide snacks because, it's getting hot. We do it in the wintertime too, but it's really starting to get hot, stay in the 80s in this day here in Arizona. And so, it gets hot quick. I haven't seen rain in months, so, it's really dry and hot. So, you can do that. Also on the website, you can find a button and other ways you can help, other ways you can help other than if you can't physically be here to help, there's a button there for you where you can fill out a form, where you can find out your skill sets and things like that. Because a lot of things happening. It's not all just about my son, Daniel, about my family. It's about other families too. So the goal is to try to start a foundation. We need different people to help in different areas. Need people to help and just the effort right here itself to help find Daniel. So, if you guys have certain skills and things like that, you fill out the form where you're at. If you want to create flyers because you want to put flyers out there. I do have a button for that. It's going to be corrected. That flyer I have currently up there need to be updated. I put the wrong PDF up right now, but you can use that for now. But it's going to be updated to include a QR code on the flyer. So you'll see a button there for the flyers. You can have them produce yourself. Only thing I ask is if you please, I meant to put that up there also, but I'm telling you here, they need to be made a certain way. I think I had a flyer here near me. I probably don't. But I did it before. So it's need to be a certain size, and that's the reason why I had it designed a certain way is because the goal is at the beginning is to search the homeless population, and with the homeless population, it's possible, with my thinking, as a father and investigator, I have to think in every area. I just can't be totally one-sided. So. I had to also consider the possibility that Daniel could have somehow escaped this place. And if he is, if he's have amnesia or anything, I'd look at every aspect and say, hey, look, let's check this homeless population. So that's the reason why I made them just like this. This is what I'm saying. This card is very small. It's hand size. You can see it's not big at all, and that's the reason why, easy for a person to carry in their pocketbook or a pocket. It's a thick in nature. It's not really flimsy. So that way it can be put on a pole or anything like that. And like I said, this is not the one with the QR code, but it will have a QR code in the corner here. So it's, I'm gonna put my fingers right here in this area. So there's a QR code, the ones that I just started recently, and that's for the younger generation too, or for anybody, make it a little easier. So to think about little things like that, make it easier for a person to, hey, they get the card, they have one. Let's say they only have one, and hey man, I'm telling you about this young man missing geologist, and the person they're talking to want to, use a QR code is there, and they can go on the website and find out what's going on. So that's part of my efforts to spread awareness to my son's case. We have to think of every avenue to spread the word out there. That's the reason why I have the billboards from. I thank God for Lamar. Lamar is a billboard company here in Arizona. I'm sure there's in South Carolina. I've seen them there too, but they really did work a great deal. And I had the billboards on the east side of Phoenix, all the way to the west side, near going up towards Buckeye. So, and one on I-17, if I remember correctly. And that's to bring awareness, the tip line and things like that. So, again, if you want to make those flyers, I'm going to try to make sure I have the information put up there, like on a template to how it should be pretty much created. So like I said, the size matters. I mean, if you can't do that, you can't get them the size, saying I'll just ask you to try. If you can't, then that's fine too. But, people were asking if, hey, Mr. Robinson, save you some money. We can make the flyers ourselves and distribute them out. So I really appreciate that. I have been sending flyers out to people who ask. So if you don't want to even do that, you can use the number again, the number on the bottom of the screen here, to, hey, Mr. Robinson, I want to give out flyers. So you can send me some flyers. I would do that too. So two ways of doing that. If you want to have me send you flyers, because they already made. So I can do that also. So thank you for that. Also on that, please help find Daniel.com. You have the events. Looks like we just had a candlelight visual that just this past Saturday for my son. I really thank everybody who came out. I thank the speakers. Thank my A-team in the background. Thank my extended family that came out from the searches. They know I love them to death. Eggsy, our search mascot. Thanks to y'all for coming out to show solidarity with me and my family, me and my daughter. And I'm really grateful for you being out there. My best friend, Freeman Hall, coming from out of South Carolina to be there. And also Joaquin from California came out to be there with me. My old military battle buddy and roommate. So really grateful that he came out. Also, like I say, the events tab will be for upcoming events. There will be some next move to bring awareness to my son's case. So I'm not just stopping. I'm not going to stop. I'm a father who's really needing to find my son. My family, he need to be home with us. One way or the other. And I'm aiming, I'm eager, and I'm going to make sure that happens. And I'm really grateful for you guys. Also on that website, like I said, you can just find all that information that you need about the case. You want to read the history about what happened and the dates and things like that. All of that is on the website too. So please take advantage of that. If I think I cover everything, but I've probably missed a couple things that there on the website that you can find, sign in, sign out for the searches and things like that. So again, if you want to go further and you want to call the Buckeye Police Department and tell them, hey, look, it's been almost 9 months. Y'all haven't done much at all. You need to call the FBI into this case. You guys see the reasons why. They haven't even done forensic work at the scene. In my opinion, it's a bunch of sloppy work. It's work that was done that's at the beginning to show, everything. Just from the point of them giving me everything that my son had at the scene, just giving it to me, will show that they even intended to do any type of investigation. You can use the word investigation with your mouth all you want to, but it's impossible to do investigation when I have everything you're supposed to use to investigate. So you're not investigating. They're just words to make you look good. So they need to, I think I would like for everybody to just, hey, look, say if you feel that way, call them and say, hey, we need the FBI into this case, and because we do. And I'm demanding that it's a family member I need FBI outside Buckeye. I don't need Buckeye anymore handling my son's case. I don't have confidence in them. I lost confidence in them a long time ago, and you can see the reason why. If they would have taken my son's case seriously at the beginning, I wouldn't be here asking you guys for help. I'm sure of that. I would have been working side by side with the department. I was going to do it regardless, and we would have found my son a long time ago. So thank you. If you can call these numbers, you can demand the Buckeye Police Chief. Like I said, bring his name is Chief Hall, Chief Larry Hall. You just call and say, look, I need the FBI into this case. It's a public thing. You guys have public interest. My son's case went national, and this is public interest, and you all have the right to, as citizens, they work for us. We don't work for them. They're using our tax money to for their paycheck. That's their job. We're their boss. So this is the kind of thing we're Chief Hall's boss. We need to demand that. We'll call the city managers. We have to the mayor and governor here, just to bolster that sentiment. So thank you. I'll have, like I said, this weekend. I know I'm putting a lot before I get to the Q&A. I'm getting there, but this weekend I am having my searches. If you guys can please come out, because I need the line searches done in a lot of areas. We found myself, Mr. Evan Short. We're trying to get people out in certain areas that really need to be searched. Logistically, it's kind of hard, especially now. Like I said, I had to cut back on the razors and things like that because of funding, and it's kind of difficult to get people in certain locations. My brother Freeman Hall can tell you, and I let him give an example. When you come out on Sun Valley Parkway, you can stand on that road out there and you look at the desert. First of all, it don't seem as wide. You look out there and it's like it's flat, and it's really not. So there's a lot of hidden things there that, man, it's really it's a really difficult area. Some places out there in the desert, very difficult to just walk, so we had to try to get some shuttle into certain areas. And so, need those vehicles and things like that to be able to get people over. You won't be able to take your car, as I said, unless you got a 4x4 or something like that, UTV type vehicle. So thank you. So again, go on that, pleasehelpfinddaniel.com, and you can also, like I said, help in other ways. You can get the PDF for the flyers. Thank you so much. And I really thank you all for coming out to support. So now I'm going to the Q&A area of this thing. And I really thank you all for coming out to the Q&A this morning and being a part. I really thank you for, like I said, being here. Thank you. Let me see who I have. Nikki O'Shea. Thank you so much this morning for coming out. Thank you, Brooklyn Court Cutters TV. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate you being here. Sarah Moore, thank you for being here. If I come down the timeline and I'm thanking you, and if there's a question there, I'll try to come back to it. Thanks so much. So I really appreciate you being here. Thank you, Sophia. Thank you, part of the A-Team. Yep, thank you. You're checking in. I really appreciate that, being here this morning, to listen in, and thank you, because I know what you're doing. You're taking them notes and so helping out. Thanks so much for being here this morning and helping out. Thank you also, Lakeisha, for being here. I hope to see you this weekend. I know you're a champion on getting those flyers out, so I really appreciate you being here this morning. God bless you on that. Thank you, Tube883. Thank you for being here, all the way from England. You say thank you so much for being here, showing your love. You could have been doing anything else, and I'm really grateful that you came to help out from England. Thank you, Hildy, for being here this morning. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much, Leslie B, for being here off of YouTube. Thank you so much for being here. Again, Nikki, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. All from Facebook here. Thank you, Ellie, Ryan, Ryan. Thank you so much for being here this morning from Facebook. Shauna B, thank you for being here this morning, part of the A-Team. I know you definitely writing some notes, but thank you so much for being here and supporting and helping me in the background. I really appreciate it. God bless you, and I appreciate everything you do. Thank you, Lisa, for being here this morning from Facebook. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Also, MTGV TV, thank you for being here this morning. showing your love from the YouTube side there. Good morning. She said good morning to everybody. So thank you for being here this morning. Thank you, Jean, for being here on Facebook. Thank you so much for sharing your time and being here this morning. If I miss your name, I apologize, but I'm going down this timeline. At the same time, I'm going to be looking for questions now. Louise, thank you, Lois, for being here. Strickland, and I'm going to get your name right finally again. Thank you for being here this morning. I hope those flyers make it to you really quick. So thank you so much for inquiring about the flyers and also being here every morning. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Ann Brown, for being here from Michigan off the Facebook. I really appreciate that. I know it's later in the morning, and you decided to be here on this Q&A. I'm really grateful for that. Also, Cassandra, thank you, Cassandra Lee, for being here this morning and showing your love. I really appreciate you very much. Thank you so much. She Rose Nation, thank you for coming out again to show your love and support for this Q&A. I see you here most every morning, and I really appreciate that. Thank you again. All right. Also, Gwen, thank you for putting this up. Thank you for being here and working very hard in the background yourself. Support this cause. Like, share, and subscribe, you guys. I have a habit of not saying that. The algorithms help. It helps the algorithm to get this channel out far, to get it out there. So if you guys can do that for me, that helps a whole lot. So really appreciate that for that. Thanks for reminding me. Okay. Also, Barbara, thanks for being here, Barbara. Kenny, thanks for being here from Charleston, South Carolina. Okay, thank you so much. That's where Daniel went to the College of Charleston in Charleston, South Carolina. Very nice place down there near the water. I'm an ocean guy. Some people ask me about Arizona, how I feel about Arizona. I'm grateful to be here in search for my son, but you know what? I love the ocean. So anytime I know the ocean is near, whether it's the Pacific or the Atlantic, I'm definitely all on board when it comes to water. So thank you for being here this morning and taking your time out. So God bless you on that. So again, my name is Dave Robinson, the father of geologist Daniel Robinson, who went missing on June 23rd. I'm here doing the Q&A. I'm going down the comment section here to thank you all for coming on. But at the same time, I'm looking for your questions. If you have a question, please put the word question there first, followed by your question. That way, when I'm going down the comment section, I can recognize it as a question. If you also could put the capital letter Q there before you ask your question. And that way, I'm going down the comment section to help me not skip over your question. Because if I skip over by accident, please, by all means, redo it again. So that'll help out. Again, thank you, Hope Hoppy, for being here, sending your prayers, sending prayers all the way from Australia. I feel them there. Thank you so much. I can feel it here, and I feel your love and your support. And I'm thankful and grateful that you're joining in from Australia and on Facebook. So thanks so much for doing that. Esther, thank you for being here this morning. I really appreciate that coming out. Jitterbug, thank you again for being here this morning. Thank you for your prayers. I really appreciate you. Thank you for continually to be supportive. Thanks to my brother's arms, my battle buddy and friend, Mr. Razine, David Razine. Thank you, sir, for being here this morning, being supportive. And I would like to say where you're at. I don't know where you're at. I know you've been everywhere in the states of this country. So I don't know where you're at now, but thank you for coming in wherever you're at, brother. I hope we can meet up again and talk about our old military days. So thanks so much for being here again this morning. I believe I said this before, but thank you to 883. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Tanya Beth, for coming on this morning. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate you for coming on. Again, my name is Dave Robinson, the father of geologist Daniel Robinson, doing the Q&A, going down the comment section, looking for your questions. If you have one, put the word question there first, followed by your question. That way I can find it when I'm coming down the comment section, and we can go from there. Right now, I'm just thanking everybody for being here. Tanya Beth for being here. Scott Chan for being here. Thank you so much for being here. Boosh for being here. I really appreciate it that you're here this morning. I think you have a question, but like again, I say if you guys put the word question there first before your question, that help. Thank God yours is so short I can actually see it. Was he involved in politics at all? No. My son was involved in politics, but you know what? He stood up for what he believed in. And one of the things was when he, when the George Floyd thing, for instance, was going on, my son, he recognized, he heard my stories as a child. I was a victim of a lot of police brutality. I have scars on my body to this day from simply walking home from work. Police attacked me and caused injuries to my body where I end up at the hospital and things like that, just for going out, being responsible, walking home from work, getting ready to go to school the next day as a kid. So that's the type of things that my son believed in, and he did join the protest against police brutality. So yes, he gonna do. If he believes in something, he was taught well. Stand up for what you believe, just like John Lewis said. The late John Lewis say, "Hey, you see something wrong, say something." Saying you can't just be quiet and just sit back and just let it happen. You have to speak on it. So thank you for that question. I also have a question from Mr. David Razine. Thank you for being here, brother. Question, David, can you email me what the police report has and what you have found? Now, I don't know how that is legally, but I can tell you how to get the police report, and I would share that with you if you was to call me, contact me on. I'm trying to get this banner up on the number below on the screen that I'm about to put up here. If you can contact me, brother, on that, we'll discuss that. So, that's the wrong one. We'll discuss that. So you can contact me on this number here. We definitely can discuss that one. I can get you that report. So thank you so much for your question, and thank you again for being here. I have one for Lakeisha Douglas. Thank you for being here this morning again. I really appreciate all the hard work that you do in the background, making sure Daniel's name is getting out there all over Phoenix and Tempe and everywhere else. So some of these other cities, Goodyear, whatever. You've been out there champion with that. Any progress as far as private investigator? Well, he's working some things. Like I said, he's not a person that be on television, things like that. But yeah, he have his methods, and he do report. So I do have some things back from him, and I do have my things that I report. So yes, I have some things back so far. So far so good. I'll just put it that way, and we will keep it that way. So thank you for that question, Lakeisha. I really appreciate you being here. Also, I have Barbara Barbara Kinney. Thank you for being here from Facebook. And the question is, did the visual get the mayor, the Buckeye Police Department, and governor and others to reach out to you? No. I reached out to them, but sometimes you reach back. It's like this. You can reach out to a person so long, and eventually you get tired of reaching. Your arm's gonna get tired. That's why I'm asking right now to have this case moved over to a different department. But yeah, but it don't take away that the mayor of Buckeye haven't yet even give me a phone call my number right there on the screen on the website. I'm sure they can see that. They have an invitation as a department. The police department have an invitation to all my searches. Like I said, it only came to 2. And those 2 searches, one was when I invited them out when CNN was doing a ride along with me, happened to be doing a ride along that Saturday with me. They came out under my request to Chief Hall. And my second request to Chief Hall, they came out to supposedly search the wells and the mines that I asked them to do, but they didn't come with the proper equipment. So first time they came up to hand, the second time they came not properly prepared, but they came out. As in for the mayor, yes, I've called out for the mayor of Buckeye, the city managers, and everybody. Saying I sent them emails. They've been seeing the letters that I sent to Chief Hall, so they know I'm here. They know those letters. They know my request for the FBI. But no, nobody reached out. I even invite them out to the kind of like vigil. But that just kind of shows you, like I said before, you can say anything with your mouth, and much you can say it 100 times, but your actions shows a lot. So the actions would tell me that whole department, everything out there in Buckeye, they don't care about Daniel being missing and things like. Don't care about the thoughts of the family. I haven't got no due respect. I didn't even have no respect about this vehicle. They waited over 24 hours just to show me my son's vehicle. And when they finally showed it to me, they showed me at the compound. Like I said, I already had my searches going. That weekend is the only time that Chief Hall ever came out there to that search. He just somehow magically showed up with my then search coordinator, and they came there together somehow. But anyway, they came there, and he got out of the vehicle, and he didn't say, "Hey, good morning, Mr. Robinson. How you doing today?" And talk to my daughter. My daughter standing there, "Hey, sorry, the circumstance, whatever the empathy part is." He just came out of the vehicle and started grandstanding. "Hey, y'all want to know where this vehicle was located?" I didn't know where the vehicle was located at that time. I have never been to the scene. Buckeye had never taken me there, but he grandstanded from the volunteers, and he had us to walk and follow him out there. And disrespectfully, as a family member, we walk with a crowd of people, just to find out where my son's vehicle was found, from the chief of police himself. So it's a lot of disrespectful things from that department. They disrespect me by not keeping me updated. They disrespect me for not showing up with visuals. Don't give me a phone call. Acknowledge me in their jurisdiction. So no, I wasn't expecting a lot from that department too. But I do send them the invite just to give them a chance to be able to try to redeem themselves somehow. But it won't happen. So thank you so much for that. Lakeisha Douglas, thank you again for a question. What city did Daniel work doing Instacart on the evening of 6/22? Well, I'm not prepared to put that out in the public yet, but I do have answers to that based on his Google history. It would tell exactly his movements around those days before, at least 3 days. So, I do have those. That's some of the things I'm not putting out in public. And but and I have reasons. I have reasons not to put that out yet. And that's some of the things. It's hard. I've been with you guys. It's hard sometimes to know some things, but can't put those certain things out right now. But I can tell you, I'm working on that, and it's part of why I need to get this forensic work done on the vehicle and things like that. So that's the reasons why. Also, thank you, Gwen, for putting this out. For information on upcoming searches and flyers, visit the website. Thanks so much for putting that up there for everybody to remember about those. Again, my name is Dave Robinson, the father of geologist Daniel Robinson, went missing on June 23rd. I've been here since June 26th, searching for my son. Started a grassroots search for my son, grassroots way to put information out there. So you guys have been champions on that, helping me stay here, first of all, in Arizona on the front line for my son, and also helping with the everything, the cost, everything that it takes to search for your loved one, your child. So, I'm really grateful for you guys. I'm the type of father who's never ever wanted to would never turn my back on my son or any family member of mine. I love my son, and you guys have showed that you love too. So, I'm not turning my back, and you guys helping me be able to do that. So regardless, I'm gonna be here, but you guys are making it a lot easier by your help, and I'm really grateful. I have a question here from Barbara. Kenny, thanks so much. Is College of Charleston helping in any way? As in direct, no. I don't know if they're doing anything in the background. I don't see the benefit from it, but they are. But I don't know. I can't speak for anything I don't know about the college. No, I haven't gotten anything from the College of Charleston in form of support or anything like that. So we'll be reaching out to them again. I try to reach out to as much people I can, and sometimes people go under the radar to reach out because look, we get pulled in different directions. I mean, tons of directions. Y'all can see my day sometimes. It is a lot. I just put us a lot out here that I have to do. So I will be reaching out to them again to see if there's any way they can help. So let's see. I think you said there's a comment that I just want to put because I happen to see it. Jitterbug. That's amazing, David. That QR code is an incredible tool to spread the word. It is. And I'm grateful that we was able to get that on the flyer. Like I said, somebody happened to have a flyer and they had a QR code. They can't immediately when they talk to somebody about it. That person can take their phone and scan that card, and scan the card and get information instantly. So that helps. Yeah, it does. It helps a lot. Thank you for your prayers, Dredgery. Thank you so much for your prayers and showing up this morning on the YouTube. I really appreciate that. I'm sorry about what happened. I see something there about the accident and the car accident when he was 19. My condolences to you and your family. Know that's hard. It's hard, So that's very difficult, and I'm sorry that you had to go through, you and your family. And I'm praying that you guys get comfort. Saying sometimes people think that no matter how long it was ago, we think that sometimes you just supposed to move on or something. I think sometimes people think I'm supposed to be moving on right now. My son been missing almost 9 months, and I'm supposed to throw my hand and say, "Oh, well." I even had a question given to me like, "David, how long you think that it would be before you throw your hands up? I guess throw in the towel, looking for your son." That's something that can't even enter my mind. This, if you understand, my son is missing. That's something that can't even enter my mind. I don't have a deadline for my son. He to me, my son is alive and I need to find him. So I don't have a deadline for my son. Even if he's not alive, I have to find my son. So it's not a deadline. So I understand that, if you nobody can tell you when to stop grieving for your loved one. So thank you so much for sharing that. And I'm sad to hear what happened with your brother and your adopted brother. And saying my prayers for you and your family. My condolences. So thanks so much. All right. Thank you all for being here this morning. My name is David Robinson, the father of geologist Daniel Robinson. If you can hit that like, share, and subscribe button. I'm doing a Q&A to bring awareness to my son's case, and also to give information and to give answer questions that you may have about my son's case. So I do have a question here. Again, if you guys can put the word question there, capital question or there, so I can know that you give me a question, that'll help a whole lot. It will help a whole lot when I'm going down the comment section to actually recognize your question. I do happen to recognize one here from Christina, but please put the word question there or letter Q in front of it. That way I can see it easily. Because if I miss it, please ask your question again and I'll try to get back to it. Why are they making you pay for forensics on the items? Good question. They're not actually making me do it. But, if you look at this scene, whether they want to have a theory, because you got to imagine, before this vehicle even showed up, they already laid the groundwork that my son somehow left his job because he was depressed or something. He was acting odd and strange. They based their whole case of my son at the beginning to be surrounded by what coworkers said versus what the father and his family says. And also they even lied and to do that and say the father said that he was in love with a woman. They made it all about some woman, to put my son in a light that he was somehow, I guess, mentally challenged or something, disturbed or whatever case you want to call it. And, the forensic work, this bottom line, the forensic work wasn't done because I see it as they didn't take it seriously. You don't see no forensic markers on the ground at all. I had a recorded and a witness at this meeting that we had a few days after this vehicle was recovered because they turned the vehicle over to me. I asked them to hold it for a little longer, and they did that. I demanded the forensic work to be done. They did some forensic work, they say. Fingerprinting. I demanded that. They didn't put that in the report that I asked, but I'll tell you guys, when you read the report, I asked them to do it. They did it under my request because if I didn't request it, they weren't going to do it. They didn't do it at the scene. So they did it according to what they say on the report. I still have yet to hear anything about that, results of that. So as a family, like I said, don't deal with me. They don't talk to me like that. They shut down ever since my investigator gave them the real evidence to what happened in the scene, from him doing the real reconstruction, is actually seeing the vehicle, touch it, and everything else, versus the one they hired that have never even seen my son's vehicle or even seen the clothes, anything, and got his whole full report in their police report. So no, they didn't do anything. And like I said, Mr. Razine, he'll tell you that anybody who's military in this chat will tell you, first of all, we pay attention to details. The second thing is we would this whole thing, we definitely won't just walk away from something like that. I'll just put it that way. But yeah, I had to do it myself. If they didn't do it, I'm a father and this is my son. He's my mission, and I have to make sure those things are done. They don't want to treat my son's case as important enough just to keep these things in the evidence locker. No, they gave it to me. They don't see it as important to even take pictures and put markers in where everything was located, and take it as a possible crime scene, just in case. They don't see the importance of that. I had to do it myself. So they didn't even offer money. I even asked them to offer up, help me on reward money. They didn't want to do that. So Chief Hall couldn't do that, he tell me. So the thing is, so I had to do it myself. And when I say do it myself, I'm also grateful you guys have pitched in also with your GoFundMe. The GoFundMe is kept going, getting the search going. Like I said, to the flyers and everything. Just running this whole thing is based on my money and also your money when you donate. So I'm really thankful you guys are helping out like that and pitching in. So yes, I had to get those things done, and I'm really grateful. So that's the reason why, because it's not offered by the police department, it's not offered by anybody else, the city manager, the mayors, or whoever out there in Buckeye. Nobody say, hey, Mr. Robinson, we're gonna pay for this or do this or whatever the case may be. They have yet to even say, hello, Mr. Robinson. We know you're out there searching for your son for all these months. My prayers are with you. I have a little thing about prayers and no action, but you know what? They could at least do that. So thank you so much for that question. And I was told in the background, so actually y'all got it best, kind of dawned on me just now, talking in the background yesterday. I am getting a little riled up at times in this Q&A. You can imagine after getting beat down for almost 9 months trying to find your son, eventually, your emotions will show. Eventually, you'll get disgusted. I've been disgusted from day one, but eventually, sometimes, those things show. So bear with me if you see some of that come out. And I do have a lot of issues with how my son case. You would too. So I have issues with how your son, your family member's case is being handled. If it was their child or their family member, if it's a police officer, we wouldn't be going through this right now. Nothing has happened. So thank you, Captain, for being here this morning with your question. It is as far as your knowledge was luminol used inside or outside of Daniel's Jeep. It was not. The way that the Buckeye Police Department expressed to me when I asked them specifically in that meeting, asked them why they didn't do any forensic work on the scene. Forensic work will be considered using luminol or something like that, or some type of lighting to see if blood was wiped up and things like that. The answer to that question by the lieutenant who's in charge of the detectives, he said, is because we didn't see any blood in the vehicle. We didn't see. He didn't say we test or anything like that. We didn't see any blood in the vehicle. That's the reason why. When I asked follow up with it, well, how you know? You didn't do any forensic work. How do you know that any blood, like for instance, was wiped up? And they couldn't answer those questions. So that type thing. So I can tell you, no, it wasn't anything done on that vehicle to try to find any traces. Lo and behold, if something was come up when I finish my get my own forensic work done, then we'll talk about that, whatever those results would be. So thank you so much for that question. I really appreciate that. Okay, again, my name is Dave Robinson, the father of Geologist Daniel Robinson. I come to you doing a Q&A this morning. And if you have a question, please put the word question there first, followed by your question, and then I can get to it easily as I'm coming down the comment section. For a question, were you able to obtain videos from the official aerial search by Civil Air Patrol, Buckeye Police Department, which show if Daniel's car was there or not before July 19th? Now, I don't know if they changed it. I'm sure they did, because I spoke about it before. I'm smiling about this because it's kind of funny to me. It's not really funny, but I'm saying it's funny that this department is something going on with that department. But to answer your question is, no, I did not obtain any kind of videos. But let me tell you, the great part is, when I was told by Detective Biffin that they were going to have Civil Air Patrol out there, at that moment, I didn't trust them, because I talked to the man at the well when they said they did that first search almost 3 days after my son went missing. That's the first search now. Think about this. First search was done almost 3 days after my son went missing. And it was basically say 3, a few hours, more hours, I think a few hours, just a little few hours, it would have been 3 days. So I talked to the guy at the well, and he, you know, one of the questions I had when I was doing my investigation, he said he was there the entire week, every day, all day at the well site, right? And on the day they say they did this so-called Firebird helicopter on 26th. I think they put even 25th. I kind of backed it up a little bit on their report. But they did on 26th. I have my phone because I was out there. But anyway, well, not for the first search, but I was just getting in Arizona. But the first search, they say they did it full search. They was on the ground. They had these helicopters, and I could tell you, when guys were telling me all this crazy stuff that they did for searching, right? And so the guy at the well said he was there. He didn't hear no helicopters, and he darn sure didn't see. He didn't say it that way, but he didn't see any. I'm just paraphrasing. He didn't see any officers at that well. So because he was there, but he didn't personally. How you put it? He didn't personally hear or see those things. So so I had questions that the search even happened. I think it was just something they told me and my family just make us feel good, and so I had my suspicions. I grabbed my people, and we just rolled up there that morning for the Civil Air Patrol. I didn't tell them I was coming. They said they was going to be there at 6:30, I think it was, in that morning. And we showed up early. I think I showed up like 6 o'clock, sat on the side of the road, Sun Valley Parkway, Cactus Road area, that gate there, and I sat there with my binoculars. It was dark. And waited until they showed up. The jokers was late. I think it was closer to 8 o'clock when they showed up. And when they got there, like I said, I started videotaping. I still got those videotapes. And I can tell you, everything in that report is not true. I think they even put as far as say, hey, they had 2 planes and all that craziness. And they only had 1. And the plane only did 1 pass. You know, each pass back and forth, 1 pass. And the plane disappeared before they actually drove off. They wouldn't let me in the gate. They had a guy block the gate to keep me from following them, see what they're doing. And I recorded as much as I can what happened. So, yeah, on the video I have is what I recorded. And I can tell you on there, I haven't checked it lately, but I have screenshots and stuff like that. But on their website this month and last month, they have the Civil Air Patrol map on there where they say they did. I have the map too. And if you watch that map really closely, you'll see that they already had it somehow it's like they knew that my son's vehicle was going to be where it's at before it was there. You know, if you look at the date, it was there on their map somehow magically. Like, hey, this vehicle, and the vehicle didn't show up until the 19th of July. For some reason, on the 9th, when they had the Civil Air Patrol, they was able to put the place where this vehicle will be shown. So, you know, that type thing. So anyway, you can look at that. So I do have that. Just what they gave me was a map of the area where they say they searched. And if they search, of course, they're saying that the vehicle wasn't there. They didn't find anything. Like I told you before, Civil Air Patrol, that department haven't so much as found a construction cone out there in the desert. So, yeah, I have a lot of questions about a lot of things. But no, I don't have any video area stuff. Now, they did say when the vehicle was found, they did helicopter search and cadaver dolls and all the stuff. Mr. Robinson, put your hand in the air. We was flying so low, man, hanging out with his hanging out the helicopter. You know, this crazy stuff he's telling me. And I have yet to see any pictures with helicopters ever being used in my son's case. Chief Hall told me in the meeting that he gave me every picture that they took because I asked for those things because I only had 1 picture. That made this so much disrespect. They literally gave me 1 picture until I had to demand it at that meeting. Because he kept using the word pictures. Oh, we took these pictures with an S. And I cut them all like, man, you using plurals, you know? Where are these pictures? Y'all gave me 1. You know what I'm saying? So after being mad in that meeting, he said he's going to give me every pictures. What the detective did, he said, hey, this is every picture that we got from that scene. And I have it to this day. And the pictures he gave me was marked drone footage. There's nothing there that say helicopter footage. There's nothing from the helicopter. And it kind of matches what the rancher said. There was no helicopter out there. And so what they put in the report is falsehoods. So, you know, according to what I know. So, you know, that type thing. So I haven't had anything that suggests they even had helicopters out there. other than just putting words on a piece of paper. So thank you so much for your question. Excuse me. Question from Sarah Moore. Thank you again for being here off of YouTube. I'm losing my voice here. Thank you for being here for YouTube. David, do you think it is possible your son went missing before the 23rd of June? Everything is possible. I'm looking at every avenue. I'm really grateful to have some information from the Google side. I'm waiting on things from, right now I'm still in the works of getting information from Instacart, from things like that. Other ways, satellite footage, whatever the case may be. So yeah, it's some things I'm looking at to answer that kind of question. I don't have the answer to that question just yet, but I am, Sarah, looking at those too. I mean, everything. So thank you so much for that. Right. Let's see if I have any more questions. If you have a question, please use the word question first, followed by your question, and I can see it as it comes down timeline. Thank you, Mr. Razine. Again, question. Have you reached out to the police investigation training centers for their teachers to show how to conduct an investigation and pull information from the vehicle? No, I do have the information from the vehicle already. I can tell you that I did have a very capable ethnic reconstructionist. He no longer worked for me, but he did his job, before he left. He the one found out that this vehicle was driven 11 additional miles after the initial crash. And I want to tell you guys, the data that he got from that came from the pool. Buckeye himself pulled that data from the black box. This is to tell you how much they felt the need to investigate it wasn't no investigation. I don't care how many times they put in a report. It was never an investigation. I don't care if Chief Hall, when he came up on the news with CNN when I had them out there, he says, we've been investigating from that point. No, they haven't. They even put it on their page. I have all the stuff. They put it on their own Facebook page. They exhausted all their leads, and they was done with this case. They gave everything over to me soon the next day after the vehicle was found. And what I can tell you, no, they haven't been doing any type of investigation. So no, I haven't read out to those centers and things like that for information how to pull. But that data was pulled from, like I said, my investigator went to them. They had no more. They said, hey, they have no investigator. They personally told him that, and they gave my investigator that black box data. They either didn't care to read it, or they didn't know how to read it, because that's the information that my investigator found was based on what they gave him. They didn't read their own. They didn't know how to read their own stuff. They didn't know how to do it, or they didn't care to read it, or something was going on with that department. And so that's where the 11-mile difference came from their own pool of the black box data. It wasn't my investigator went in and pulled that black box data. No, it came from them and their black box data. So, make a long story that no, I don't. That's to answer the question about the information from the vehicle. That all came from the black box data, and also from infotainment system that my investigator had sent to California for analysis. I think it's almost an 800-900 page report that I do have. So we have information from that, from when the vehicle first crashed and things like that. Some other little data that's there, and also the physical stuff, information on that vehicle that he actually, as a trained know-how accident reconstructionist, saw from what that vehicle, the capability. And I'm gonna tell you one thing. They saying that my son's vehicle was driven, and this investigator that they hired, Buckeye, and I still harping on that really hard. This investigator says this vehicle was driven across that terrain at this certain speed before it came to rest down here. And my investigator, he did the measurements up there, and it's impossible for that vehicle. Anybody come out to that scene, they can see it's impossible to get a heavy vehicle like that at that speed on that terrain. We tried to do it with the Razor. Razors are made for that terrain. Coming up that hill like that and going across that terrain and bouncing and moving around, it's impossible to get that speed up like that on the vehicle. So that tells you by itself that vehicle wasn't crashed there. So it's like common sense stuff. But sometimes I feel, in my opinion, these people, when they harp with it, when they really want to be hard on something and they want you to believe something, they'll tell you, don't believe your own eyes, but just believe what I tell you. You know what I'm saying? Tell you what you need to believe and see. And I don't fall for that. So thank you, Mr. Razine. Okay, another question well, I don't know this question. Thanks so much for that, Kathy. Thanks for your question again. I think I answered that one also. Okay, thank you so much for your questions. I'm going down the timeline to see if I can find them. And I have one here, I believe, from Dodge Fender. Question: Does Daniel have any favorite musician, sports figure, any that he was a huge fan of? I was thinking, if so, maybe we could contact his idol or. Um, you have a wide range of music he loved to listen to, but I do know he's a somehow he became an Arizona Cardinals fan. I say that because he wasn't before. Of course, he moved here to Arizona. But yeah, he has a lot of favorite musicians and things like that. I can't narrow them down to one person. And as in his he's a big fan of. I don't know those type things yet, but and then you have a lot. So thanks so much for that suggestion. Yeah, I reached out to. We had a letter, have an attorney. She reached out to the Phoenix Sun, also the Cardinals, on NFL, things like that. Here this is a state that do have a football, basketball, even ice. I think it was ice hockey. She told me team, and she reached out to all of them. Saying to try to get awareness, try to get my son's name put on the inside the stadium during the games, things like that to bring awareness and to get help. I have yet to hear from those organizations. Of course, I think a lot of these organizations, that's what I'm getting the 50C, getting the nonprofit thing getting up, because a lot of these companies do not like to help individuals, but they like to help corporations or nonprofits. So I'm trying to get this nonprofit to help towards that, and also to help with other people. So hopefully it can, but right now I don't have an answer to that one. Thank you for your question. Sarah Moore, David, in in your live, you mentioned two women being with Daniel before he disappeared. You mentioned that one woman has virtually disappeared. Is there anything more you can tell me about this situation? Yeah, that's the truth. My son told me personally. This before all this, he went missing. He met these two women through the Instacart. Of course, me and my son have our 2 hour conversation. As part of our last 2 hour conversation, I was somehow gratefully now had recorded that 2 hour conversation, and so I can listen to it over and over again. But the thing is, my son did mention these two ladies, and like I said, he was delivering their wine and some other things, and the order got messed up dealing with their wine. And I want to tell you, the guy, all that dog whistle that you hear out there in the media, because he's a black male, they was not had any liquor at all. The word liquor wasn't even in that vocabulary about this whole thing where he was delivering to those ladies. Is actually wine. So it makes a big difference. Just the word in itself makes a difference. So I had to deal with that a lot when I speak to the media. But the thing is, he was out there. He corrected their order, helped them out with their order, and that's the reason why he was actually had a conversation with these two ladies. But yes, there was two ladies in that on that night when he spent the night there, and I don't know who the other lady is, but they're so fixated on the one. So fixated on the one. This department is fixated on the one. They have yet to even, like I told you, people ask all the time, like, hey, did they question this person? I have never heard them use the word interrogate. I heard them use the word question. And one person they actually questioned was one. And that's the one lady at that night. The other lady, you don't hear nothing about her. She just disappeared off the face of the earth. According to that report, she don't exist, that type thing. But my son did mention that both of them to me. He didn't give me a name, but he just mentioned the one name that he gave me that night when he and I was talking. So I do know of the one, but the other young lady, I didn't even get the name from my son. So, but she was there. She was present. So I do know that part. So yeah, I'm still working on that to try to get that department to be honest and put those things. If you're going to make a report, you need to make a report, a real report. Don't put in what you want to put in, take out what you want to take out, and things like that. Like I said, right now I'm going through with Ms. Q and her channel to go through the police report. We're gonna go back and finish that, and it disgusts me when they gave me the original report, when they told me, when they didn't have an investigation, when they gave me the final after that meeting, they said, hey, we're going to give you the full report. They gave me a partial at the time because they didn't have it together. So when we finish finalizing this report, Mr. Robinson, we're going to give you the full report. And they did that. So that's what I'm saying. It's an unredacted report they gave me. Then all of a sudden, when the thing came national, now I think they're up to like 5 reports. I don't know. But I tell you what, they don't match the original report. Some things in that report don't match. So that tells me they go in and add and take away what they want to take away to make themselves look good. So I'm matching those things up, getting every report I can, and keeping those things as a record to see where the variance and differences are and why. Try to understand why they keep changing things in that report to fit their narrative or whatever they got going on. So thank you. Next question, Haley Nolan from Facebook. Have you been in contact with Sarah Turney, Season of Justice, Voices for Justice, or Billy Jensen and Paul Holes, the Murder Squad, Jensen and Holes podcast? Those names don't sound familiar to me. I reach out to a lot of people. A lot of people contact me, so I can't necessarily say no, but the names don't stand out to me, and I really don't know what they're about and things like that. So, but yeah, I don't have no problem. Anybody that can help, in any form or fashion, in helping me solve my son's case or helping me bring awareness and all that. So thank you, Haley Nolan from Facebook, for your question. I have one here from Dodge Fender. Is there any way to contact the military for satellite images taken the day Daniel went missing, the day the car was found? I tried all of that so far without, and I probably ain't trying hard enough. I'll just put it that way. I tried on some occasions to reach out to different, not just military, but different other satellite companies, that have satellites up there in the sky. There's thousands of them up there. But try to find something that I can actually get somebody for that date. Some are outdated. The ones I have seen outdated, they weren't updated yet, and things like that. So if they hadn't updated on that date, then it's hard. It's hard getting that stuff. And I'm sure that's the kind of thing that a police department would be able to easily, I'm sure, get from the military, for instance, and things like that. So thank you for your question also. All right, I have one from Loretta D. This may be dumb. No question is dumb. I'll say this again, you guys, no question is dumb because, a lot of people are here for the first time and don't know anything about my son's case. And, so if y'all hear the same questions over and over again, just bear with us because, I'm here to answer those questions. And, a lot of people I knew, and I'm grateful. If you're new, please hit that share button, like, and subscribe because that will help the algorithm to get me out there, Father, to spread my son's word. And if you're new, like I said, you want to be up to speed, that's what the Q&A is for. So thank you so much for your question. But the question here is, this may be dumb, any pro bono forensics companies? I don't know. If they have some, I would like to find them. But you know what? I want to make sure it wouldn't be more, my focus on a forensic company is not based on what it can do free or anything like that, but more so what it can do accurately. You know what I'm saying? I had to make sure it's a company that has their stuff together. You know what I'm saying? So that's the reason why I'm being very careful who I choose to handle my son's thing. You don't want anything. You got to, first of all, I got to hold up in court and things like that. So it's a whole process. So thank you for that. I don't know any. If they are, that'd be great to find them and see what they're all about and look into them also. So thank you so much for that. Thank you, New, for putting up by the Cash App, and I can explain that. The Cash App that you knew put up here. Thank you, New, first of all, for working the background, all your passion. I know how passionate you is about my son's case, and I thank you for what you do. The Cash App that she have here was requested by a lot of people who didn't want to donate to the GoFundMe. And the reason why they said they didn't want to go donate to the GoFundMe because the GoFundMe take fees, and they wanted me to get every penny that they wanted to give. So I did open up a Cash App for Please Help Find Daniel, and I only have that displayed on the Twitter, but that is the address for it. I didn't put it on the website. I was really reluctant. It's hard for me. Y'all don't believe it, but it's hard for me to even ask people for money. I have never had to do that in my life. But at this moment, my son's life is at stake and everything going on. I know I need the funding. I wouldn't ask if I didn't need it to keep this whole operation, this whole thing going, to search for my son. And so I do ask for help. I need help now to get this forensics done on the vehicle. I need all the money I can. I think people get confused about looking at, and that's another thing, looking at the GoFundMe money that was collected thus far. That money is being used. It's constantly being used. It's being used to get those flyers up there, to making flyers, creating banners, and this whole running the whole searches out there. I can just go on and on and on. But for me to be here in Arizona, all of that is came out of that GoFundMe money. So I can tell you that it's an ongoing operation, not something that just sitting. You know what I'm saying? In other words, GoFundMe money don't just sit in the bank and not being utilized. So it's a constant effort to find my son. So yes, that's what people want to donate different ways. You know what I'm saying? So I did open up that Cash App for that reason. And thank you, Yanu, for adding that up there, so people can be aware if hey, Mr. Robinson, I want to donate, but I don't want no fees. I can tell you with the Cash App, I found that I do have to pay taxes on that, so it's still gonna be fees regardless. That's why when I need to go in there, and I really thank everybody who donated so far, and I did. My team keep telling me, hey, Mr. Robinson, you need to go and go in there and tell the people thank you. I want to, and I'm going to make it an effort to do it really soon here and let you know that I did receive it. I haven't been looking at the GoFundMe. I haven't been looking at the Cash App. I'm just taking everything by faith, and I know God's going to bless me to be able to stay here and be able to fund everything I'm doing. So I try to focus on my son and getting these things done. Everything I need to be done here, getting it done. So that's what my focus is. So thank you so much for that. Again, hit the like, share, and subscribe button. I really appreciate that. If you can do that. And let's see. All right. I just want to put this up, Mr. Razine put up there, because it's something that struck my attention. All Federal Aviation Administration for the flight report. That's one of the things, Mr. Razine, that I was going to, with David, that I want to, I know we all use the last name for everything, but that's one of the things I'm going to try to use to find out these flight laws. I did talk to a pilot that I had before on my team when I had to try to get a search. One of my searches when my investigator was here, I talked to him and tried to get flight laws because I know that coming out of Phoenix, they say they use the Phoenix Firebird, whatever came. There should be some records of that flight even taking place. I know the area where my son was missing is a different area. It's not near the airport, but I know they had to fly to Phoenix. And Phoenix have one of the largest international airports, so all that is ran by that airport. So there's flight laws everywhere, and so I wanted to see if it was accurate, and I'm still working on that. My investigator eventually getting those answers to, like that guy at the well said, did it even take place? I'm looking into all of that. I'm not gonna let this stuff like that just go away because the police department tell me something. I ask questions, and I tell you, when you have a missing person in your family, do not ever take the word of anybody. I don't care who they are. Just because they have a badge and a gun do not mean that they're telling you the truth all the time. So you always need to ask questions. If you have any doubt, ask questions. Okay. There's nothing wrong with asking questions. You're not offending them by asking questions. It'd be offensive if they get offended by you asking questions. This is your loved one, and it'll take it as they get mad at you asking questions. They got something to hide or something. That's what my impression would be. So it's okay for you as a family member to ask anything when it's concerning your loved one, and they the ones supposed to be in charge of handling that case or handling the situation. So yeah, I ask questions, and I'm the type of supervisor when it comes to department. When I see things wrong, if I didn't see nothing wrong at the beginning, I'd been a little more relaxed. I would have been, hey, let's work together. When we start seeing the inconsistencies and things like that, then you have to start micromanaging things. You have to micromanage just like you would if you own a corporation. You have employees; they work for you. Micromanaging them. So, micromanage and make sure they're actually doing their job. So that's what I do, and I have to. Question: can you hire a helicopter? I did before. I had a bad experience, but yeah, I did before. I'm not gonna put his name out there, but the guy took me for my money. I was able, thank God, to get my money back. But yeah, we do things like that in the beginning. Charter flights, helicopter, airplane to the search. So that happened too, you guys. with your help with GoFundMe out the searches in the summer, some of that had happened also, getting these flights. Some people donated their own plane. I have one couple utilize their plane for free. So I was grateful for them for doing that. But yeah, it's expensive to do a little charter. This one morning, the helicopter, I was smiling because of that. It was really challenging. Paid the guy. He supposed to came out. My investigator during the time, he was we was waiting on. We cleared a landing area near where the vehicle was found for this helicopter to land. The guy said he was on the way. He never showed up. I just put it that way. It never showed up, never answered my calls anymore. So that type deal. But I was able to get my money back. So I'm grateful for our money back. So I'm grateful for that. Yes. But yes, I consider those two as I need them. Mr. Razine, thanks so much for the question. Question here, Sarah Moore. Okay. So they could see the vehicle there on the 9th of the air, but didn't find it until the 19th. Did I understand that correct? Yes, you understand that very correctly. On their website, they had the Civil Air Patrol. They have it outlined on their date. You go to Buckeye website, or they had it on their date that the Civil Air Patrol came out. And under that date, they have the mapping that they say the area they're searching. They have the little markers there where the well site is located and where the vehicle is located on that map. And that map, like I said, they have it outlined on their website, was created on the 9th of July. But the weird part about that is the vehicle didn't show up until the 19th of July. So how they pre-thought that or no, I don't know. So I can't answer that for Buckeye. That's those questions that you all as citizens can ask them a question on. But I just pointing out that kind of way they do things in that department, and a lot of questions. And that's the reason why I don't have any confidence for several things like this. Is why I don't have confidence in them handling my son's case. My son is very important to me. He's important to the society. He's a scientist. He contributes. He's all of that. And, I'm not leaving him and his life, his integrity, his honor, none of that in the hands of the department that's capable of that kind of stuff. Being on. That's why I'm asking. I don't need to deal with this department anymore. At this point, I need them to move out the way and get in the agency that can help me find my son. So that's what I'm looking for, and that's what I'm asking for. I'm not asking for Buckeye to help anymore. I'm asking them to just move out the way. They have the power to do so, and I'm asking them to do the right thing, at least do the right thing on that, and get the FBI into my son's case. I'm still checking on that to see if they even did the case review that they say they did. So there's a lot of things, but I'm asking them to just move out the way and get this FBI into my son's case, and that's what I need. Matter of fact, this vehicle very much well may be on BLM land, Bureau of Land Management, on federal land. I'm not a surveyor, but I know you can take a couple of steps to the left, to the west, and you'll be on federal property. So who's to say that vehicle is not already on federal property? So they need to come in. The FBI need to come in to see why my son's been traveling across their property, vehicle possibly travel across their property and landed there in this ravine. So that's they part of it too. They're part of this case also. That's one way that I know that department should be in this case with my son. Again, my name is Dave Robinson. I'm doing a Q&A. Answer your questions as much as I can. I'm coming down to the end of this Q&A, and if you guys have questions, put the word question there, like Haley did right here, and followed by your question. That really helps me when I go down the comment section to identify your question and can answer. And I'm running out of time. I have some things I have to do today, but I'm trying to answer these questions as much fast as I can and as much as possible. Question: have you been in contact with Sarah Turney? Okay. Sometimes, for some reason, I think I get these questions again, but thanks so much. I don't really know. I have those names wasn't. It's definitely not. There's something that came up familiar to me. So, I'm still trying to. If you guys have them reach out to me, I'm not turning down any of those. I guess it's podcast or anything like that. I can sit there and I can talk to them, and and find out what they're all about and things like that. So I talk to a lot of people. hear from a lot of people, and I can't say I haven't heard from them totally say that, but that don't stick out to me right now. So thank you. I think I have a question for Lois. It's not a crazy question again. There's no such thing as crazy questions. They're just questions to me. And I thank you, Lois, for being here again, answering the question. This may be a crazy question, but how long would it take for you and the volunteers to search the entire desert where Daniel was found? Thanks. It's not that we're going to search the entire desert, because that's impossible. We're just searching it based on the 11-mile radius, and also based on how far a person can walk in the situation, from everything we know about this vehicle, and also possibly what's reasonable for a foul play consideration that a person would try. There's things like mines or wells and things like that around the area that's reasonable, where a person can come from this area where my son was last seen at that well and travel to that place and God forbid, drop them in a mine or something, so that type deal. So those are the reasons why some of the distance and things like that, it's all based on some type of science. It's not, we don't look at the whole entire desert and say, hey, we need to cover this every square foot of this desert. That's impossible. And it's not even really reasonable, and don't make sense to do so. But the area where that's reasonable and the area that make common sense, the search, that's what we're doing. And it so happened to be huge. And it so happened to take us a long time because, it's all about manpower, and it's also about the number of people. And also because, like we're doing detailed searches where we have some searches, like I said, utilizing ATV, UTV type vehicles, 4x4s, horses, even so, that we can't get to really on foot as easy. But it's not as detailed as a line search or a hasty search that we do in these areas where we found human remains and things like that, because it takes you to actually be on the ground to find human remains. That's why I question again. The department say, "Hey, Ms. Rob, we had these officers out here. We had these dogs, the search dogs, with the ass, she all talking right here at the scene, right? And on a few hundred feet is a skull sitting on top of the ground, and they didn't find that. So that question made me question their search. But yeah, we were volunteers doing line search, and we found that skull in that area. So the thing is, that type of stuff. So we have to do those line searches, and they're very detailed, and it helps. It helps out a lot. We can't fly in a helicopter or airplane or something, or use a drone to find human remains. You have to actually be looking for it. So that's one thing. So thank you so much for that question. Another question: how long did Daniel know? From Kathy. Thank you, Kathy. How long did Daniel know that young lady before he went missing? I can't really give a exact time frame, but it had to be at least about 2 weeks. I'm thinking at least 2 weeks, based on the phone records and things like that. So it had to be at least that long before he went missing. It wasn't. I want people to understand it wasn't like, and that's another thing. They would put up that my son, make it appear like some people thought that my son spent the night over there. He left and came back the next day for his canopy, and and then he went missing. It all happened in a day or something. No, it didn't happen like that. So, no, they knew each other for a while before my son went missing. So, yes, it wasn't like a overnight type deal. So, yes, that's the answer to that question. They knew each other for at least a week or two before he went missing. At least a week and a half to 2 weeks before he went missing. So, thank you for that question. David, as an advocate, it is my job to reach out on behalf of victims to different organizations. Is there anyone you would like me to reach out to on your son's and family's behalf? Sure. The number that you see on the below the screen, can you please contact me there? Also, Sarah, if you can, please go to that how you can help in other ways tab on pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. And if you can, please do that. Put your skill set in, and that help us. Also, when I say us, I'm talking about the team that I have. Saying see other ways you can help us too, and that if you have that advocacy, that can help us in a lot of ways. So, thank you so much for putting that out. And then, like I said, you can reach me on that number right here up on the bottom of the screen, and we can talk about those too. So, thanks so much God bless you on that. Y'all lose my voice. I talk too much. Again, my name is Dave Robinson, father of geologist Daniel Robinson, who went missing on June 23rd. And I'm asking questions, doing Q&A. Here's a question here from Sarah Moore. Is this map available somewhere? I guess I'm assuming you're saying a map of, maybe I missed the other part of the question, but I'm assuming that you're speaking of the map where my son, two maps. If you speaking of all of this, when my son went missing, the well and all that stuff, you can find it on pleasehelpfinddaniel.com under sector map. They can tell you areas that we have searched and things like that. Places that we are currently going to search. So you can check that out. Also, if you're talking about the Buckeye Civil Air Patrol map, you can find that on their website. Look for Daniel Robinson under there, and you can find that map. You can find the whole timeline of what they say they did and things like that on that website. And that's where you can find that map in that timeline that they put up of things they've done and the evidence that they feel like they did these things. And they put that there under those dates. So thank you also, Gisela from Grizzly True Crime for joining in from the Netherlands. I really appreciate you. Many people don't know all the hard work that you put in to help create this channel, for instance, create this channel to, doing the kind of like visual live stream. You're doing all this from the Netherlands. Amazing people, right? Very amazing lady, running her own channel, but also helping everywhere she can and help find Daniel. So I really appreciate you, Gisela. And you know that, I love you for that. And I'm really grateful for everything you do behind the scenes. And you're currently doing and constantly doing. So thank you so much for doing that. Also, like everybody else who's doing that, content creators, you all are doing things in behind the scenes. So, but thank you, Gisela, for doing that from the Netherlands. All right, from Jen, thanks so much for your question on Facebook. Are we sure that Daniel's Jeep wasn't in the ravine until the 19th? Is it possible that it was there there earlier and just not noticed yet? Well, the only thing that's a problem with that, Jen, is the rancher who actually found the vehicle. There's several things, several reasons you got to look at that. The first search was done almost 3 days after my son went missing. And they said they did, I can't get the exact number right now, but the mileage that they covered on that so-called search they did with a Firebird helicopter, that search area here, the area where my son's vehicle will eventually be found, was in that search area, right? They did extensive search, like they said, they did it for hours. They told me over 12 hours or so, searching for my son out there in the desert with this helicopter, they claimed. And first of all, they didn't see it. Then the excuse was, the terrain is rugged and it was hidden because of the brush and all the stuff. The possum was there, and then we didn't see it because when they high in the air looking down, they couldn't see it because of the brush. And then you guys know, y'all look at that drone footage, you look at us on the ground, we're out there, you look at the vehicle itself, that brush is not high. I can tell you that. We could take drones out there all the time, and you can look at us on the ground from the air. If you're on the ground, you're coming over that hill, look, you ain't gonna see it until you get on top of the hill, then look down in that ravine. If you're out there searching that area like they said it was, you looking in ravines for a vehicle. You're not just looking on the flat surfaces that's high up in the air for vehicles. So that's one indication that the vehicle wasn't there. The second thing is the gentleman, like I said, the rancher who actually found the vehicle, he was there 2 to 3 days prior, he says, searching for his cattle. His cattle always come down that ravine, that where the vehicle's found now was located. His cattle come down that ravine to get to this corral. Because I tell you from the site here, I do know now because I'm out there all the time. That corral is south of that where this vehicle's found. So that's reasonable to believe that because the cattle do travel through that area. If the vehicle's there, he even explained it even farther. He just to back himself up to help us understand that the vehicle wasn't there 2 to 3 days prior when he came there and came to that spot looking for his cattle that travels through there. He said that if the vehicle was there and he didn't come there and see that it wasn't there, those cattle would have stopped there. They've been licking on the vehicle because they were trying to get the salt off of it. These are bighorn cattle. They've been ripping that vehicle up, trying to get to the cases of water, the untouched case of water, 2 cases of water that was in the vehicle. They also would have been digging around with the clothing because they're curious animals, been digging around with the clothing that's on the pile over there, that kind of stuff. And also there would have been cattle, droppings, for better words, in that area because they would have been hanging around there so long without moving, that would have been on the ground. So we do see that on the ground out there in the desert, they drop us and things like that, but in that area right here, no. So those are the indications. That was the reason why we know that vehicle wasn't there 2 to 3 days at least prior. And, just saying 2 to 3 days prior to that being there, saying it wasn't there for, unless my son was riding around that desert for almost 30 days and then finally crashed right there after the rancher, the 2 to 3 days, after the rancher came through there. No, it wasn't there before that time. So that's how we know that, just based on testimony of the rancher or the guy who actually found that vehicle. So thank you for that question, Jen, for that one. And also, let's see. And also, I can tell you if that vehicle, if that rancher didn't have his testimony, you got to look at this one thing I want to point out is that according to the infotainment system and the data that was pulled from that vehicle was crashed 4 hours after Daniel went missing. So they had that vehicle first initial crash was on the 23rd. That means that vehicle had to be sitting there from the 23rd, and this rancher hadn't seen it. And the vehicle, like I said, the helicopters and all they used was supposedly some kind of miraculous didn't see it. And also the rancher, he had to come right there and somehow going down that ravine where it's sitting, didn't see it, until 2, 3. So it's a lot of that reason why I can kind of really know that I can back that part up, that the vehicle wasn't there based on the data and things like that. So the only thing we got to tie that in is the geolocation, with which I'm saying, I'm still working on that. I'm not giving up on that, which the Buckeye Police Department conveniently, in my opinion, can't provide. My son had a Uconnect in his vehicle. They conveniently say, oh, we can't get information from that. Okay, what about cell phone ping? The phone been ringing. We've been calling almost a full day before it finally went dead. What about that? Oh, no, we can't get that either, Oh, what about the his travel, him coming, how we know he even showed up in the desert? Do you have anything? He was at traffic light. He lived in Tempe. He had traffic light. Y'all see him traveling up that way too? No, we can't get that either. It's everything for whatever reason is inconvenient and can't get, but I would get them. You best believe that it's going to happen. It's take a long time, but those are things I'm not giving up on. I will have those answers eventually. All right, Sarah Moore, were both women around Daniel for 2 weeks or just the one? I don't know. Just like this lady, only thing I know what my son told me is that she was there that night. And then what I know also from that, she was there that night, but after that, my son didn't speak about, ever having any kind of interaction with this other person, other than that she was there. And also from what the Buckeye Police Department tell me, or lack of not saying, is anything about the woman. So what I do know is that the other one just disappeared. She's not even on the report or anything else. And like I said, so I don't know anything else about the other person. So thank you for that question. All right. Let's see. Thank you all. I'm thinking about to the end of this Q&A. I thank you all for coming out and asking your questions. If you had questions, again, I'll tell you, just put the question there first and then come with that. And, thank you so much. Thank you, New, too, again, for all your hard work and your passion in the background. Like I said, people just don't know all the passion that you have there and what you do in the background. So I'm really grateful for you. And I think you're doing it from your state. You're not here in Arizona. I know you're doing it from your state. You're not here in Arizona. So thank you so much for that. But I do have to end this. I have a couple of places I had to be this morning. I had to get dressed and get ready for that. So I'm really grateful for you guys joining in on this Q&A. I want to play a last little clip again one more time of the candlelight visual. And then after that, I'm going. I love you all. Thank you so much for your support and your love. Without you, I'm telling you, I would not be able to do any of this. So I'm really grateful for your love and your support and helping me. And please, by all means, I hate the stresses a lot. I really need your donations. I really need to get this forensic stuff done ASAP. I don't like asking a whole lot, but I really ask you guys, if you can, encourage other people, whatever you can do or whatever you have to do to try to help donate. And I promise you, I'm doing everything I can the correct way. I'm not perfect, but I'm doing everything I can the correct way to make sure that my son get the justice he needs. I'm taking those funds to make sure I'm helping the forensics work done. Make sure I can get the searches back up the way it need to be done, conducted and things like that. So your help, I don't care what you pitch in, $5, $10, whatever the case may be. If you guys can help any kind of form of fashion, encourage others to do so, please, and explain to them, hey, look, this is what we collected so far. This is an ongoing thing. It's not like I'm just on some vacation or just collecting funds or something. No, it's actually being utilized. So please, by all means, help with that. Again, to give you an example of that, we look at some of these other cases, national. I'm tired of keep mentioning their names, but what you see on the GoFundMe I have here, that was spent in one day, just looking for these people for a whole month. This one, I'm going to use the one, the murderer, for a whole month. So you can imagine the money they use to find a person versus what I had to stretch for almost 9 months to search for my son. And I'm doing this alone. I don't have the resources, the helicopters and everybody flying around, and police also from every agencies, the FBI and all that, showing so much love and concern for a certain group of people. I don't have that in my son's case. You know, though he's a model citizen, don't even have a criminal record, don't even have a speeding ticket. Contributed to society, a scientist doing work that help communities and things like that. He's an advocate for justice, and yet they can't even spend a dime. But they spent a lot of money on accident reconstruction because they didn't like the way my accident reconstruction is found with their data and found with physical evidence. They didn't like it, so they want to use their money instead of coming out to searches to help me get at least a helicopter or something. I want another Phoenix helicopter out there. Instead of using the money for that, they went to do that. So pay somebody to give them what they want without even looking at my son's vehicle, without seeing it, without touching it or anything, and just put that in a report for you guys, for the entertainment of you all. So, that type of thing. I'm going to keep going, but thank you so much for being here. I love you all. When I say this, I really mean it. You all are my extended family. One way, one form, out of fashion, you come out and help me and my family, try to locate my son. I'm really pushing hard. I'm trying to do the best I can. I think any father, mother would be doing what I'm doing. I hear people say a lot of stuff to me. I'm really grateful for your thoughts about me being a father. That's what fathers do. I think I would wish that my father would have done that for me. I do have doubts about that, of course, but it don't stop me from being the kind of father I need to be for my son. It's my birthright, it's my honor, and it's my job, and I have to do this for my son. So thanks so much. God bless you all. And like I said, I'm going to play these 2 clips, and then I'll be out of here. So thank you so much. God bless you.
Where is Daniel Robinson?
Saturday night, that question on the hearts and minds of Daniel Robinson's family and friends gathered at the state capitol asking for more to be done since the now 25-year-old geologist vanished in the Buckeye Desert.
My son is just not my son. He's also America's son, because this happened to a lot of families.
Since then, his father, David, organizing search parties hoping to find his son. Volunteers showing up week after week, standing strong with the Robinson family.
Daniel could be any one of us, and so we definitely need to bring awareness to the situation. If we don't speak up for him, and help find him, who will?
Daniel and my son went to the same high school. Felt it was my duty as his neighbor to be here to support him and really try to figure out where Daniel is and bring him home safe.
David's search parties found Daniel's Jeep Renegade rolled over in a ravine, airbags deployed, his clothing found inside out, boots and socks, wallet and laptop, no blood, no signs of injury, no signs of Daniel.
God knows how much we can bear, and at times I feel like I can't really take but so much more.
But in his weakest times, David says it's the volunteers that provide him strength.
Everybody know that I call them my extended family. And so this visual is the same thing. We all here have one common goal, and that's to find Daniel and also to bring light. We'll have the other families.
As the Robinsons' extended family light candles tonight, their collective light shines towards that day when their question is answered and Daniel comes home. Josh Sanders, 12 News.
Yeah, I'm David Robinson, the father of geologist Daniel Robinson. We're out here to do a candlelight visual on behalf of my son, and also to bring light into other families who are going through similar situations. So thank you. I'm thanking everybody who's out here to support. We need to stand in solidarity to bring attention to this case and to make a statement.
Oh, I'll be your shelter, I'll be your armor. I hear you whisper underneath your breath. I hear your SOS, your SOS. I will send out an army to find you in the middle of the darkest night. It's true, I will rescue you. I will never stop marching to reach you in the middle of the hardest fight. It's true,